Peace, love, blessings in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Welcome to another episode of Life, Love, and Living Water. I got a very special friend with me today. His name is Corey Harris. Me and Corey met a few years ago through a ministry that my pastor has. It's called Another Chance Ministry, and Corey went through the program.
Yeah.
Just a little backstory. Corey's wrestled with drug addiction, comes from just his fair share of trials and tribulations through life. And today he's an overcomer, man. He's a child of the King. He's a born-again believer. He pours into men and women every day at the same ministry that he went through. He's a father to his daughter and soon-to-be husband.
Yeah.
Don't worry, because by the time this episode airs, you done popped the big question.
Yeah, question
and all
to
that.
be popped. All right.
Yeah, man. You want to say anything about yourself?
You pretty much hit everything on the head. But like you said, I went through the ministry. I did 8 months in the ministry. And that's where I come to find God. It was going through the trials and tribulations of my life, needing something. Basically, really, like, it's just God was the last thing that I tried and the first thing that worked. So that I am soon to ask the question to the woman that I love if she'll marry me. Thanks for that. Do nothing but to make me even more happier if you would just marry me.
That's exciting, man.
It is.
Big steps.
Oh yeah. And then, like, in saying that, man, like, I would always pray for a wife, and then it hit me one day. I'm like, you're praying for a wife when you don't even know how to be a husband. So I've been getting molded into that. But I mean, it's just every day, you know what I'm saying? I just continue to give my heart over to Jesus Christ every day and fight my flesh. Other than that, man, I'm grateful to be here and grateful to be called your friend.
I appreciate that, man. I'm
Yes,
grateful
sir.
to have you for a friend.
Yes, sir.
You're a good guy. You got just a crazy good heart, man.
Yeah.
And every time we talk, I feel filled up.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm beating against some iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Corey, we had the privilege of going to Africa together with our pastor
Yeah.
a few months ago, and that was really radical. We got to spend some good time together and step away from the world, man, step away from our daily grind, and that was a blessing to be able to share that little season of life with you.
Dude, and I literally still carry that experience with me. Like, I still feel that gratefulness in me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, it's been...
It was crucial, man.
Real. It was, man. And I haven't been the same since I've been back. Like, it really opened up my eyes because, like, and like I've told some of the, you know what I'm saying, some people, like, to see their gratitude and their dedication to walking with Jesus. And, like, some of these people, I mean, walk a couple miles to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the churches wasn't even finished that we went to. Electric went out when it was in the middle of praise and worship. And they didn't skip a beat. And I'm like, dude, like, to have that love and that dedication to Jesus and praising God, bro, was tremendous. Like, I'm starting to praise a little bit more now, but
yeah, it's good, man. Well, me and Corey got 5 questions prepared for each other. You know the drill. Just seeking the Lord on some things. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I can.
Don't matter to me.
I got a couple 2-part questions, you know what I'm saying? Like 3 2-part questions. I can go first. My first question for you is, like, what was your bottom? The bottom that made you have to turn to God and truly surrender your life over to our Father in heaven?
I've had a few bottoms, man, but the last one, there hasn't been a bottom since. It looked like a complete rebellion and the furthest separation that I've been from God. And just this walk of life has taught me, God has revealed so much to me, man, that my pain came from separation from Him and His presence. And so my deepest bottom was when I was the furthest away from Him. The drugs took me out. The pursuit of the pleasures of my flesh took me out, but more so my deception took me the furthest away from Him, because it was like I was on the pursuit for truth, but I didn't want to look anywhere near Christ. And it was a weird season of my life, man. It was like Christ was the only truth I ever knew. And then it was like this perverted truth entered my life that seemed so enticing and rewarding. and instantly gratifying. That's what it was, man. That's why it was so attractive. Because it was like, wow, I can get something right here, right now.
Yeah.
And it was along the lines of like manifesting my own reality through reprogramming my subconscious mind. And then went so far down that wormhole to think that like, wow, the Bible was written probably by the government to stop us from realizing that we have this power.
Oh, you went there, huh?
Yeah, and then I started teaching it on the internet, bro, and trying to persuade other people to turn from their faith and put their faith in pretty much self-righteous beliefs and practices. And that was my bottom, man. It was dark, it was cold, it was lonely, and I was in a place in my life where I had been off of drugs for like a year almost, and then I relapsed. And it just shot me through the stratosphere, bro. And that was the first time I experienced Christ coming after me.
I can feel that. See, and you said something in there, man, that like you separated yourself from God. Okay, because I was
rebellion, man.
Yeah, I was just reading this thing earlier, and it said, when God created fish, he spoke to the sea. When God created trees, he spoke to the earth. When God created humans, he spoke to himself. So what happens when you take a fish out of the sea? It dies. What happens whenever you take a tree out of the earth? It dies. What happens when we separate ourselves from God? We die.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting chills, bro.
God gave me a revelation right here in this room, man, that, I was about to go speak to some people, and I was just seeking him. And it's like, if he knew me, when he formed me in the womb, and I was with God, and then I'm born into this world, and that's the first time I experienced my life separated from God. You don't never see no baby, not even just chilling, coming out the womb. It's screaming, bro.
Yeah.
Screaming in agony. Don't even know how to fart yet.
Yeah.
And it's screaming. It's been separated from God. And then it was like I had a vision of the baby opening its eyes and just hearing all the sounds and seeing all the things and overcome with all this stimulus from this environment. And for a moment, it forgets that it's been separated from God until you leave it alone. And then it starts screaming again. And you got to go distracted again. And that follows us our whole life, dude.
Man, that's good.
It's like when we're a kid, it's like if you didn't give me my cartoons and my warm fuzzy blanket and my sugary snacks and I was alone, there was something wrong with me. And I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, but something inside of me was broken and screaming that it needed something, and I couldn't figure it out. Never tried to figure it out. As a kid, you're just really looking back. I was just looking to be distracted from it. Following into your adult life, that's where the drug addiction came in. It's like a distraction from suffering. My suffering existed outside of God's presence. And what led me to this, seeking this revelation, was I asked myself, like, the times I thought about killing myself, how did I come up with the conclusion that nobody would miss me? And I asked that question, man, and I received. I asked and I received. And God took me back to that void that has always been present in my life and revealed to me that it was there because of an absence of his presence. And then as my consciousness started to develop, the enemy came in, with a plan, knowing that he was one day going to tempt me to take my life, came to me in my youth and started pinpointing, you feel that way inside because of what your mama did to you, or you feel that way inside because of what your daddy didn't do for you. Started making me blame stuff or situations or people. So whenever I was in a position to want to take my life, the people who cared about me the most, I had grudges built against them. So I didn't think of none of them, which in turn made me feel alone. I'm looking to confirm the feelings that I feel, that I'm alone and I can't think of anybody who would miss me if I was gone. And I know that it was a lie because the moment I was reconnected with God and his presence, all of that went away. The blame that I had put, it wasn't your fault because I no longer feel like this. And because I don't feel like this no more, it was never your fault to begin with. I was lied to. So the people closest to me was the first people that I found forgiveness for. Because turns out they didn't really hurt me. I was already hurt.
Yeah.
From not being in God's presence, man. And the further I got away from God's presence, the more I hurt inside.
And it's easier for me to blame somebody else for my hurt as opposed to take my own responsibility for it like you just did. Like you said that you wasn't in God's presence. So let me blame these people in my life who love me, the only people who probably really love me and have always been there for me. Let me blame them. for why I feel this way whenever they did the best that they could.
Right.
And they did what they seen growing up or what they were taught. Like
Literally the best they could, man.
that's it. Like
so much of their life was sacrificed.
Yeah.
Just to be in our life.
Yeah. Like my mom and dad could have went out there and chased their dreams. Like, yeah, okay, me and my dad had a relationship, a rocky one when I was growing up. Like he could have went out there and chased it, but instead he stayed there and he did the best he could with what he had to take care of us kids, like me, my brother, and my sister. My mom did the best that she could to take care of me, my brother, and my sister, man. Like, I mean, I remember that woman making a 5-course meal out of flour and water. Like, just, she was magical.
My mom was a hardworking woman, man.
Yeah. Like, it's, so I mean, and
crazy.
like, and I would sit there, I even sit there now, man, sometimes, and I'll be like, I can use all these excuses for why I got high, because that's my justification. Because somebody who doesn't know me and isn't tired of my BS yet, they're gonna be like, oh, why does he get high? Oh, because he's misunderstood, and he's this, and he was hurt, and he was traumatized as a child. In all reality, like, that's my excuse, and that's the only thing I have left to hang on to do whatever I want to do with. And as soon as I let go of them excuses, I have no reason to stay out there and get high anymore. I have no reason to live unrighteously anymore. Like, I have no, if I do it now, it's because I want to. Like, I have no reasons. I've let go of them, bro. Like, if I stop following God today, it's because I want to, not because I can blame it on anybody.
When you say that, it makes me, what's coming into my mind is a scripture, like the truth, man. It sets you free.
Yeah.
Because it's like those things that you're holding on to in reality are lies.
Yeah.
Like this person hurt you or this person hurt you. Nobody hurts us, bro. We're not at war with flesh and blood.
Yeah.
You know, even people, physical beings who may have done me wrong were influenced by rulers of darkness.
Yeah.
So really the blame's on them. If you really have spiritual eyes to see, you shouldn't have a grudge built against any physical fleshly being. No. Because we're all influenced by evil.
It's all principalities that we're fighting against, man. And I've heard pastor preach about that all the time. Like, it's not the person. It's not you. If I'm mad at you, like, it's not you. Like, I'm fighting a war against the principalities and the spirits that are attached to you. Like, and he also says, like, we're all assigned, like, angels and stuff like that, but we're also assigned demons. Yeah. Like, we're assigned things that are going to come in here and hurt us and torment us. Okay, and if I know that I lack in an area, and the enemy, the devil, knows that I lack in that area, where do you think I'm going to be tempted at the most?
That's right.
In the area that I lack in. And then trying to find the balance between that, because I'll be over here working on this, and he knows that I struggle with this over here. So then what does that do? It grows like it's insidious. So then I got to go back over here, and then I got to find that balance, man, and that balance is God. That balance is Jesus for me. Like, that's my balance in life right now.
Yeah.
It's
the way, the truth, and the life.
I'm telling you, it is. Like, it is. Like, I remember Chris told me once, he told me this little parable about a truth and a lie. Truth and lie were identical twins. They go to this body of water. Lie talks truth into going skinny dipping. They jump into, they all strip their clothes off. They jump into the body of water. While truth's in there swimming around, lie gets out, takes truth's clothes and his clothes, dresses up as a truth, and then walks through town. So everybody thinks that it's truth. Then truth gets out of the water, and he's walking through town, and he's naked, and everybody's disgusted, and they don't want to see that. And the moral of the story is, I would rather believe a dressed up lie than I would the naked truth. Like,
oh, wow.
And that's like, the dressed up lie are the things that I hold on to. Those are the things that keep me sick and keep me in bondage. And the naked truth is the fact of, like, those are all lies. You know, I don't need them things. Like, naked truth, like, for real.
And
like,
if you would adopt that truth, sets you free. Because now you no longer have a vice that's holding you.
At all.
You ain't got nothing to hold on to.
None.
You're literally set free.
Nothing at all, dude. Like, there's no excuses for anything that we do anymore in our lives.
Yeah. And I think deep down, man, we want to be the best that we can be. And it is the lies that hold us in bondage. So, like, when the truth comes, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. When Jesus enters us, that truth, you know, he sets the captive free. He gives truth to the lies we've been holding on to. That's good, man. I got some questions for you, brother. I saw something, you know, whenever you said a minute ago that you just try to do the best that you can do. You know, a lot of times I would feel so shameful when I would mess up, man, but I saw something that has stuck with me. It's like I no longer live in sin. I live in repentance.
Mm.
And that really opened my eyes because it's like, yeah, I still fall short, man. But I don't live in it.
Yeah.
You know, when I lived in sin, there was no guilt, there was no shame, there was no wanting to do anything differently. So to understand that I wake up today and I live in repentance, it's no excuse to sin, but it's also a testimony that like I'm not perfect. I'm still gonna mess up, and when I do mess up, the evidence that I'm headed in the right direction is the conviction that I feel, the shame that I feel, the guilt, and the will to do something better. My first question for you, man, is what was the darkest part of your addiction? Kind of like your question, just worded a little different.
And my answer would kind of be similar to your answer. It was the last time that I was out there. Because I'm coming up on 3 years now. So it was like 3 years ago.
Congratulations on that, man.
Thank you. Thank you. It's definitely been a journey. I had lost everything. The woman that I was with, my child's mother, she had kicked me out of the house. I had to move back in with my mom and dad. And while I'm sitting there...
How old was you at this time?
I was 27 because I was about to turn 28. And I was actually literally like January, like 3 years ago. Like almost to the date.
Wow.
And I was in there, man, and I was too much of a coward to pull the trigger. So I was literally slowly just killing myself by doing drugs. And I can remember for like almost 4 months straight, I sat in my old room and I would not leave unless I was going out to get more drugs. I did not socialize with anybody unless I was going out to get more drugs. And I just remember sitting there, man, and whittling away and just wanting to die because I was so miserable. I was so tired. Like, I was so tired, I'm still tired. Like, and I remember that when I talk about it, I feel that feeling in the bottom of my gut. But I was just sitting there, dude, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is what my life has came to. I'm literally pushing away all of the people who love me because I'm a selfish, to the core person. I mean, and she was a great woman, you know, like, she stuck with me 9 years, almost 9 years. I was with her. We had Brinley. Brinley was like 3. And I'm sitting there. And like I said, I wanted to die, dude. And then I remember when my mom looked at me, because I had told her, she knew, but I finally told her, like, look, I relapsed. I'm back on dope. And she looked at me and she's like, I thought you were stronger than that. And in that moment, just them simple little words crushed me. Because it's my mom, you know, like, I wanted her to give me a hug and cry.
I had a couple experiences like it.
Yeah. But like when she told me, I thought you were stronger than that, crushed me. And I remember sitting there that night and I prayed. I was like, God, either help me or kill me because I cannot do this anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. Like, either help me get out of this or kill me to where I never had to do this anymore. Because, I mean, I was so bad, Dre. Like, my daughter would stay the night with me and she's sleeping right behind me. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed getting high, not even thinking twice that what if my daughter wakes up and I'm laying dead right beside her? I didn't think about that. Or what if my mom and dad come around the corner and they find me laying there dead? Those were my thoughts. In my mind, I was like, I'm just getting high, like I'm not hurting anybody. But whenever my mom told me that, I truly felt that not that she didn't love me, I knew that she loved me, but that she was done. Like, and me being a parent, you don't want to see your kid sit there and slowly commit suicide. And I can look at it like that now. And that's what they were doing. And I've been told, and I believe this, it's easier to mourn a death one time than it is to mourn somebody who dies every day, over and over and over again. I was literally 169 pounds whenever I went to treatment. I'm 270 pounds now, so yeah, that was 100 pounds ago. But I went in there and see like all these tragic events had happened. My cousin, my older cousin, who I call my brother because we did everything together. I lived with him from the time I was 13 until I was 18, literally like that was my brother, was trying to talk me into going to work with him. And I looked at him and I was like, I can't go like this. Like, I'm high. I said, either one day I'll show up, I won't have nothing, and I'll be too sick to go. Or I could be up there too messed up to where, like, I could kill somebody.
Yeah.
And this was after I had prayed that prayer. So, like, God was working on my mind then, and he was clarifying my mind, and he was literally, like, I was thinking straight, and I was thinking rationally. I wasn't thinking like an addict. Yeah, I was still dependent on the drugs, and I had to continue to put those in my body, but my desire to get high was gone. My desire to want to live was gone. I had no desire. That was literally the worst, deepest, darkest place I've ever been. So then finally he talked me into going to detox. So I go to detox. I get down there, and I call my mom. I was down there 6 days, and I call her like 4 days out of the 6 days I was down there. And each time I call my mom, I found out that somebody had died.
Wow.
One of my friends or somebody that I knew. And this is like 4 people in 6 days. So I leave there because, I mean, I was supposed to say 7, but I leave there 6 days. And my justification for leaving is I wanted to see my daughter. In all reality, I wanted to go get high one last time because I knew this was it. So I went home. I got my daughter. I sit up all night, and I'm trying to get high all night. Finally get a hold of a cousin. I go there. I get some stuff, and the next morning I go to admissions. I'm there. I do what I had. And my mom and my brother drop me off. So then they leave, and they come back like 2 hours later. And mind you, at this time, I had just got high from my last time, so I'm spinning out of my head. They come back, and they tell me that my brother died, that they found him at 4:30 that morning, dead in his bedroom. And in that moment, I looked at my mom, and I knew this for a fact. I said, if I leave today, you're burying 2 of us. And she knew that. Like, I was like, there's nothing that I can do. For whatever reason, I thought completely clear right there at that moment. I was like, if I leave, like, you guys will bury 2 of us. I know that I have to do this. Because not only did I know that, but whenever I went to detox, the doctor told me, he was like, dude, you're probably like 2 weeks away from death. Like, your kidneys are starting to shut down. There's blood in your urine. Your kidneys are giving off protein. Like, they were leaking protein. I was puking up blood. Like, I was right there at death. I almost did it. But God stepped in and intervened. So I was like really, really close to death. But like, I would have to say that was the worst. That was the worst time, man. I'd lost everybody. I'd lost the best friend. I'll never be able to hear my brother's voice again. And like, that was my best friend. Like I said, we did everything together. And what is crazy is like, he died on April 28th, which is the day I go to admissions. It's like my clean date. So, man, I just felt lonely, lost, not connected to anybody. For the first time in my life, I knew that if I didn't do it this time, I was never going to be able to do it. And if I didn't do it this time, I was really going to lose everybody who loved me. Because like I said, I mean, as a parent, I don't want to see, I have a daughter, a 6-year-old daughter at home right now. I don't want to see her slowly commit suicide every day.
Right.
And what's the best way to prevent that, to prevent me from watching that? Remove myself from that situation. So, feeling like, and whenever I tell you that my mom was my superhero, like, she made 5-course meals out of water and flour. She was always there to hold me whenever I was sick. Like, even though me growing up in the environment I did, my thoughts and my mind was distorted. And like you, I had resentments and stuff built towards them, but she was always there. And now when I look back over that, like, she sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
To be there in our lives. So it would definitely have to be the last time I was out there, man. It was the worst I ever was. It was the worst I ever was. Like I said, I'm 6'4", 169 pounds, dude. I was no bigger than my thumb. Like, I was just ready to die. And I tell people, like, nobody loves me like I love me. Nobody loves yourself like you love yourself. Like, I don't want to hurt me. But whenever I gave up on myself, truly gave up on myself, bro, and was like, dude, I'd just rather die instead of live another day. I mean, yeah, being an addiction, people say that. Oh, I just want to die. I mean, you say that, but you really don't.
Right.
Until you really do. Like, and then whenever you say it and you really mean it, bro, like, it was, and I hope people get this, but I look at it as like, whenever I threw my hands up to life and said, like, let me die, was the same way that I had to whenever I was in group and pastor's preaching, he was doing spiritual, and he's like, you just got to throw your hands up and surrender. It was literally the same thing I had to do. Like, whenever you surrender to God, you have to give everything over.
Yeah.
But I'd given everything over. I had nothing left. No love, nothing left. I couldn't cry. I just couldn't do anything. I was literally killing myself without pulling the trigger. And it was terrible. I never want to go back to that.
Well, praise God, man.
Oh, gosh.
For pulling you out of that.
Yeah, that's what I say. And then also,
it's always good to hear other people.
I never would have known how good God's grace and mercy was if I didn't go through that hell.
Yeah.
Like I never would have known that. Like I wouldn't have.
I think that's what makes you so powerful, man, in what you do and where God has you, to be in a position to pour into other people who are facing those same demons, under the same curses and deceptions, man. You know, you've come into a contact with a power that these demons bow to.
Yeah.
And you carry that with you. It's powerful.
I have to. And I do it on both ways. Like I always have to remember that pain. I don't stay in it and I don't dwell in it, but I remember that pain.
Yeah.
I keep that pain with me every day because I never want to feel that. And I heard once, like, if you forget your pain, it was never really your pain. Well, that was my pain. That was my rock bottom. That did me in. Like I'm done. Like I'm still tired, and I pray that I always stay tired of addiction. But then also, like, I have to carry God with me every day. That's the only way I can carry that pain is because I have God in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my balance. I keep that pain in the back of my mind for a reminder, but, like, God. Like, and I knew that. Like, I didn't know what I needed then, and I didn't even know what I was doing then. I just knew that I was desperate, and I was like, the only person, and I knew it. I said, the only thing that can help me right now is God.
Mm-hmm.
He can either take my life from me, like I've asked him, even though that's a coward way, or he can help me save my life. And I mean, as I sit here and live, like, obviously he helped save my life.
Yeah. I can relate, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. That's how we're doing. Okay.
It's powerful, man. Very powerful testimony.
Okay. This is like, it's kind of like piggyback off of the questions before. Coming from the lows in life, are you happy with the person you have become? And do you like what you see when you look in the mirror?
Absolutely, man.
Yes. Yes.
I try not to like myself too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's like, really, man, life is really enjoyable. Life is super enjoyable. If I stay rooted in Christ, I find that life is very easy and enjoyable. But it's like you have to have a balance with it, because I know for me, like, I'll start getting sad thinking that it could come to an end.
Yeah.
Because I place my hope in a life here on earth. So I always gotta remind myself, like, I'm just passing through here, and to try to really keep my hope and focus on the kingdom, and to know that the kingdom is coming and the king is coming for me. It helps me find that balance. But yeah, dude, life is, compared to what life used to be like without Christ, it's night and day.
Yeah.
This was like, there was no life without Christ. It was just waking up and suffering to not suffer. It's like I lived a life of suffering, but if I tried to quit suffering, it just brought more suffering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I kept doing drugs, because, at first it was because it was awesome. And then it became like, okay, if I stop doing this, I suffer bad.
Yeah.
So I do this now because I don't want to suffer.
Yeah.
And God has blessed me, man. I want to do what is right in his eyes. Whatever he has for me to do, that's what I want to do. Sometimes I get out of control. Sometimes I start focusing on things that are not relevant, that only serve myself. I was actually just talking to my brother about it, man. It's like, and it's crazy because the fact that I was able to talk about it it's like evidence within myself of the growth and Christ still working in me and still renewing my mind and giving me wisdom to see the enemy and his weapons that are formed against me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I just took a step back and was reflecting, like, and this goes right in with your question, man. Like, I feel like I'm in such a place of abundance right now, as far as things that I could pursue, things that I could pour into, things that I've accumulated. And not material things, man. I'm talking like words, things to share with people, things to give people, fruit.
Yes.
That's what it is, man. I got an abundance of fruit, and my fruit is given to people through things like this. Videos, pouring into people, capturing other people's stories and stuff. I got a bank of stuff that I'm sitting on. And I've identified today even that the enemy tries to distract me, man. Because if I stop focusing on the things that have already gained momentum.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. You have to get a car moving and you start pushing it. It takes a lot of effort to get the car moving. But once it gets rolling, dude, you can walk with it with your fingers. And as long as you just keep walking, that car's going to stay moving. But if you get distracted and you stop for a second and that car stops, then you got to grind again to get it moving. And I've identified that that's what keeps happening in my life.
Yeah.
It's like God's got me on an assignment, man, to speak, to share testimonies, to capture testimonies. And I'll start doing that. And then it's like once it starts building a lot of momentum, I get distracted with the things of the world, things that are outside of my ability to get right now. And it comes in so many different shapes or forms, man. It's like the enemy will plant a seed in me to have me believe that I need something to progress. Like right now, my drone's busted up. I need a new drone. That takes a chunk out of the wallet. One of my camera lenses is messed up that I use for my work a lot. That needs fixed. Just different things, man. And it's like I'm not in a position to cater to those needs right now. And so I have to identify and trust that I have everything that I need to get to my next season. Everything that I need within this season to create a harvest, I already got it.
That's a word right there.
And God knows my needs. And, today I was thinking of all these ways that I could like get a new drone and get some batteries for this light so I could go make videos without having to be on an outlet. All these reasons why I need this stuff. And I'm thinking about borrowing money. And then it was like, boom, the scripture hit me. I'm the lender, not the borrower. So it's like if I have to borrow to get something, it's because I don't need it. I got everything I need and I don't have to borrow to get it. I already got it. And so that was empowering, man. It was empowering because I experienced it shift my focus from all these things outside of myself back to what God is doing in my life through me. And, the thought of losing this momentum started to diminish because it's like whenever I start progressing in life, sometimes I feel like it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Because it's so many highs followed by lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. But could it be that my low is caused because I get distracted? Like God's trying to take me, elevate me. But I keep getting tripped up on things along the way and I lose my momentum.
That's good. That's good.
So I feel like he's teaching me to keep my momentum, which involves completely trusting in him.
Yeah.
My momentum is lost when I stop trusting in him. Think of Peter when he was walking on the water. He had momentum going.
Yeah.
From the time he saw Jesus, realized it was Jesus, overcome that fear of a ghost, stepped over the boat, stepped on the water. He's on top of the water, bro. Can you imagine that? Like, put yourself in that position. It's storming.
Yeah.
Jesus is walking on the water. This is already crazy.
Yeah.
And now I'm walking on the water. That was momentum, bro. And then he stopped, took his eyes off Jesus. All that momentum instantly plummeted. He sank.
Yep.
And he would have to start all over again. Get back in the boat. Put your eyes back on Jesus.
Overcome the fear of starting again and then doing it again. Yeah.
And then to even put it into more context, he didn't walk on water again. At least it wasn't written about. And it's like I've identified that when I lose my momentum, it's not as simple as just, let me get back behind the car and push. Dude, sometimes it's a season of a drought. When the word says there's a time to reap and a time to sow, he who sows little will reap a small harvest. He who sows a lot will reap a great harvest. So if I get distracted in my time of sowing, then come harvest time, I ain't going to have nothing. And I've experienced that. I've experienced the drought of just nothingness, feeling like nothing's going for me. And I've made the mistake of, even like with writing music, like I write this awesome song and I make the mistake of feeling like this is just in me. I can do this anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's a season for everything.
Yeah. There's times that it just comes out.
Yeah. I can either write a song or I can write an album. You know, I can chew on the song for a little bit. How long is it going to sustain me? Versus if I write an album, maybe it'll sustain me until the next harvest or until the next time to sow, the next season. It's like you can't plant strawberry seeds in the winter and expect a harvest to grow. You got the seeds and you got the ground, but there will be no increase, no matter how much you water them.
That's deep.
It was, man.
That's deep. I like that.
I'm thankful for it, man. I'm thankful that, you know, even in the midst of my puny life, my failures, falling short, God still has his hand on me.
Yeah.
God still loves me. God still shaping and molding me the second I choose to look at him. Never left or forsaken me.
And I just like to always, like, I like doing that and talking about that because, like, of your stature. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're all over social media. Like, you got Dread A Ministries. Like, you're doing big things. Like, you're doing huge things where you got people duetting your music video that you don't even know. Like, you're doing big things. And, like, so just, like, seeing where we've come from, man.
It's crazy, bro.
The depths of the depths. Like, we were the leaves underneath the gutter. You know what I'm saying? Like, to where you are now, like just shining the light on that. So like, you know, some of these people out here, because you do got a big following base, you know what I'm saying? So like some of them out here, bro, like just like me, whenever I was coming up, I never thought I could make it. And now here I am, a drug abuse counselor. Like here I am. I'm considered as a leader at church. Like here I am doing these things. But 3 years ago, I was ready to die. I wanted God to take my life.
3 little years, man.
3. That's a drop in a bucket.
And for real, Corey, you're a leader in this community, bro. It's way beyond the church. The things that you're doing with your life every day is having an impact that I don't know if you've taken the time to imagine, but it's like if you help one person, bro, and because you help that person can help a couple people. Mm-hmm. And now those people can help a couple people. Dude.
And that's what I look at, too. And I've told guys that. And I was like, look, like, I'm just a stepping stone in your life. Like, you guys are going to reach people that I'm never going to get to talk to or I'll never see. I said, but if I'm able to impact your life and change you in any way, you're going to go out there and you're going to spread that gospel to these people, and then you're going to help them people. So, like, I look at it like that.
I think of, like, I think of what people do every day in their waking lives for a living.
Yeah.
You know, you got people who work in retail. You got people who supervise people that work in retail.
Yeah.
You know, all this consumer-based stuff. And then you got people in your caliber who are like real life making a difference in the community, dude. You wake up and you save, you're playing a role in saving people's lives. What greater service is that, especially when it comes to the second commandment of loving your neighbor? And it's like, sure, you know, people in the recovery might not be out in the spotlight, man, but I believe that what is done in secret, our Father is going to reward you guys openly in due time.
Yeah.
I believe that in my heart, man, that like there's serious blessings in store for you guys who do what you do.
I stay faithful to it. I stay faithful to it for sure.
God sees it, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you can imagine, like when you're seeking God, and I can imagine that in your line of work, there's a lot of that. You know, what do I pour into these people? What do I need to say? Just the fact that you are seeking the Lord, man. Sometimes I'll be in my car, and whenever I'm seeking the Lord, it's like he shows me, like, there's so many people around you, and I see you because your mind is on me. Mm-hmm. And it's like I imagine all these people around me who are at home watching TV or scrolling on their phone doing anything but seeking God. And then here I am in the middle of just a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
And God sees it. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's like elite 1%. I used to think of that. Like whenever I would run, if I would go for a run, I'm like looking around at everybody driving in their car, sitting down. I'm like, I'm literally elite 1% right now. I'm out here running.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
You're saving the economy one laugh at a time.
Yeah. 3 years ago, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Ain't
no telling what the next 3 looks like.
At all. That's like not even like it. That's like 1,000 years. I mean, 1,000 days is literally it. And that's nothing. Especially when you think about it like that. Like it's nothing. It's like 1,000 days ago.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
You know, I used to dwell on like, what would have happened if I started walking with the Lord the first time he came to me when I was 9?
Oh, yeah.
And feeling like I missed out, you know, because it was 20 years almost. 29. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing my math wrong. I don't know. It was a long time, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then God's just revealed to me, like, I caught you up. I caught you right up to speed. You ain't missing nothing.
It's almost like hanging out with your best friend. Like, you know, okay, you're with your best friend, bro, and then like you guys go years and years without talking, dude, and stuff like that. But as soon as you guys meet back up again, bro, you left off where you start where you left off at.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to catch up.
At all. Like that's how I look at it. Like, you know, my relationship with God is like that's my best friend.
That's good.
And it's like I've left him. I've seen him. I've sought him. I've left him. And then I found him again. And like you said, I got caught up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here, man. All right, dude. Let's shed some light on the ways that the enemy is working in your life, bro. In what ways are you being attacked in this season of your life?
And honestly, what's crazy, like, I mean, I can speak about a lot of things, but I was just talking to my girlfriend before I came over here, and I was like, you know what? Like, 2024 has been a good year. Like, it has. Like, it's been a good year. I've been able to, like, make financial moves. Like, don't get me wrong, I freak out internally over the financial stuff because, like, I don't worship it, but I know money rules the world. Like, and I know that you need it to live, and it is very, very important. But it's been really good, man. I haven't really, other than some deaths, that's really it, man. And the enemy tries. And don't get me wrong, he tries. He tries with, like, lust. He tries with negative thoughts. There's sometimes that I question, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, should I really be doing this? Or should I be doing something else? It would probably honestly have to be internally, the belief that I have in myself, which kind of makes me a contradictory because at work, I'm convincing people like you guys are worthy enough to do this and you do deserve a good life. But behind the scenes, here I am thinking about, like, do you really deserve a good life? The things that you've done, does it make you worthy? But I know that those come in seasons. So, like, I know that it's going to be okay and it's just a season right now. It's just a storm right now. And it's like me being anchored in this storm through God. Like, God has anchored me in this storm. And I look at it, like, I changed the way that I look at it of, like, the enemy's attacks. Like, those are just things that are going to stretch me and continue to make me more faithful. Like, he thinks he's winning, but in all reality, like, dude, you're setting me up for a victory. But it would probably be, like, mentally and emotionally. Like, I'm not a depressed person, but, like, I deal with depression. So, like, sometimes it's severe and sometimes it's not. Sometimes I think everybody's against me. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I separate myself from people, and sometimes I don't. But it would definitely probably be in those areas in my thinking. And only because my thinking is because, like, just as well as God and Jesus knows that it all starts with a thought, the enemy also knows that it only starts with a thought. So if he can get in my mind, he's got control of me. Because our mind controls everything. But me combating those with, like, all will be well. Scripture.
Yeah.
Like, I got to combat it with Scripture.
Feed yourself scripture, man.
I have to. Like here lately, I've been doing the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I acted as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I had to put those childish ways behind me. So that's been like, basically, like I can't let the things that used to bother me anymore. I can't do the things that I used to do anymore, especially if I want to grow in God. So, and that's been like, it's because of with my mind and the way that I think. Like as a child, I thought just in childish ways. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not a child anymore. I'm a grown man, like, dude. So you can't be sitting here. Like, not that it's not going to happen, but like, you have to control your thoughts now. Like, I have to control my thoughts, and I have to bring God in my situations into my life, because that's something I didn't do when I was younger. So that would probably honestly be it, man. I've really been like since Africa, dude. Like I've been a complete different person. Like the attacks aren't the same. I mean, they're still there. Yeah. I'm just more prepared for them. Not that I don't get attacked. I'm not saying that. Like I'm just more prepared for them. I'm more equipped to deal with the enemy when he comes. So
you keep bringing up Africa, man, and one thing that like I didn't understand until Africa, was the covering,
dude. Yeah,
and it's like I can being there allowed me to identify that, like whenever I started filming for Pastor Gray, I can see like my life changed.
Yeah,
and to credit that to stepping under this covering, right, of a leader, of a man of God. To think that whenever we went to Africa, we went under a covering.
Yeah.
We have no idea who still thinks about us. We have no idea who's still praying for us.
I still get likes every now and again from people over there. And I'll still, like, every now and again, I'll get a message from a dude over there.
And that's crazy to think about, man. You know, even to hear pastors say, like, things changed for him too.
Yeah.
We stepped under a different covering.
And it's just like, it's so, and I've kept that, like, seen their faith, bro. And I was like, look, like, these guys are facing all odds. In America, over here, we have accessibility to everything. Like, over there, it varies. Like, you can go one part of town and they have the internet. The next part, dude, they're living in huts. But the people living in huts are just as grateful, if not more, than the people who are over here living with internet and in houses and
Gucci
driving
bags.
cars. Yeah. Like, so when I seen that, man, I was like, these guys are being attacked on a daily, but they're not letting, it's just like when it comes to addiction, like they're not letting the attack from the enemies determine who they are. Just like in addiction, like we don't let our past define who we are today. So I can't let the attacks from the enemy define who I am or how I approach things. Yeah. And like I said, like, it's not that I don't get it. I get attacked daily. We all do. And I'm probably going to get attacked really, really bad after I just said this. I mean, for real, but like I'm prepared for it. Like, and like we said earlier, it's a spiritual battle. And the armor of God.
Yeah.
Like, I have that today. I have them covering my, you know what I'm saying? Covering. I got the shield. I got the sword. Like, I got that now. So, like, and like I said, not that I don't get attacked. I just look at them different now. Like, I look at them as opportunities. Okay, you're attacking me here. Well, you're just showing me what I'm weak at and what I got to work on.
There is a scripture that says, rejoice when you face trials of various kinds.
Yeah.
Because it builds our character.
Yep.
It sharpens us.
And it also says, for I am not uncommon to the...
There's no sin that man doesn't face that isn't common unto man.
Exactly. Like, so, like, and knowing that Jesus went through all them things and that he is my way out of it and that God is my way out of it, but I just stay grounded and rooted in those guys. For real. So, I mean, I don't want the attack to come, but if they do...
We have an advocate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I got a little, you know what I'm saying? I'm packing today. Like, in the good way.
Might have sharpened my sword last night, so.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You better give me 6 feet, boy. I'm swinging.
Yeah, shing, shing.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, question number 3. This is kind of a personal one, but I mean, I feel like you'll answer. When you're alone in your secret place, can you explain what it feels like when you truly make the connection and feel God's presence all around you? Because I know that, like, I asked that question because I know that you're a prayer, you're a praiser, you're a tither. Like, you're all these godly things. So I know, like, I figured you got a secret place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. It's my nature spot.
Yeah, yeah.
I went there on my birthday, and, it's out in nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of been neglected during this cold season.
Yeah.
But I still find myself going into a secret place. It's really my car. It's been my car a lot. But just reflecting on like what it feels like whenever I know I'm in the Lord's presence. Man, I can have so much stuff going on. And again, it's a momentum thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up and you instantly just start building momentum toward all these things, all these possibilities. What can I pursue? What do I got to do? What is someone else's agenda for my life today? And whenever I go to my secret place, bro, it's like it starts before I get there because I'm going there for a reason. So I start building momentum on the way. And then when I get there, man, it's like I just start talking. I start talking with God. And it usually starts off with gratitude. I thank him for allowing me to get to that place. And it's usually sunny and, nature. And I hear the animals and stuff around me. So I reflect on his creation. I reflect on how I feel. And it's like whenever his presence overcomes me, man, it's like tunnel vision. All the momentum that I had built towards whatever is like gone. Or it's like I'm in a bubble and I'm protected from it. And sometimes, man, it's gotten so intense that it's like outer body experience. It's like I'll be talking with God and the visions will pour in so intensely that it overpowers the vision that I see around me or my sensory perception.
Yeah.
The vision is so much, because really that's what our sensory is impacting. When you tell me a story and I'm listening, your sound waves are beating off my eardrums. It's starting to form a little bit of something in my imagination.
Yeah.
Whenever I see something or I feel something, it's leaving an imprint on my imagination. Whenever God comes and leaves an imprint on my vision, it overpowers what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, what I touch. And it becomes like an outer body experience. If you've ever had that experience when you're driving and it's like you just went a moment or like, you get so lost in your imagination when you're driving. It's like, I don't even remember driving for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Like I can walk for a mile and then it's like, wow, I wasn't thinking about anything like worldly. Like I was so intertwined with God and what he was speaking to me that everything just faded away. And that's what it's like, man. A little piece of heaven because it's not of this world. The world fades away. And in those moments, I receive direction, correction, opportunity.
Yeah.
Just to praise him, thank him, cry to him, vent to him. I long for those moments.
Good. Yeah.
I'm ready for it to get warm again.
Oh, yeah, guarantee it. Guarantee it. That's like, I just wanted to know that, man, because it's definitely, it's a different experience. Like that secret place, bro.
Yeah. When it's followed by tears, man.
Yeah.
Tears help me know it's real.
Yeah.
I didn't stub my toe and nobody hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm out here weeping.
Yeah.
Something is happening inside of me.
Yeah.
It's a marvelous thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good question. Makes me hungry for my secret place.
Yeah, I tried to
possibilities, man. It's like
bring an artillery.
What's that?
I said I tried to bring an artillery with me.
Oh, okay.
I sat there. I was thinking deep. I only did it like an hour ago, but I was really thinking about it.
I did.
I even ran them by Kara. And I was like, "What does it sound like?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's good." I was like, "But there's like a wow question."
I was joking with Janessa. I was like, my first question for Corey is, how big are you really trying to get? Corey stays in the gym.
Yeah, have to.
I went with him a couple months ago, and that didn't last long.
No.
Man was in there curling more weight than me.
Yeah.
Here's a curveball, man. Why do you think addiction is such a problem?
Okay, I'll give you for why it was a problem with me, like because it was so appealing.
Why do you think it's such a problem for society?
Oh, for society?
Yeah. Like, why is this such an epidemic? What do you think's happening?
Because when we first start out in addiction, right or wrong, it looks fun. It's an all-time party. It's like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
All-time party until you get in there and you see what comes with it. You see the darkness that comes with it. You see the trials and tribulations. You see the depression. You see the negative. It's everything's picture perfect. And that's what addiction was. Like, addiction is picture perfect from the outside looking in until you get inside of the picture. And then you see the imperfections in the brushstrokes. You see, like I said, like the dark moments. You see, because whenever I was coming up, and just like a lot of the people who were coming up with me, the people we seen getting high had the cars. They had the girls. They were always had a smile on their face. They were always partying. They looked like they had fun. They had money. And that was an imitation of the music videos that we grew up watching or things that we grew up watching. Like, it was just so common, man. And then, like, we grew up in an era with phones and internet.
Yeah.
Like, we had them things. We had the accessibility to it. So, and it was just like, it looked fun. It really looked fun. And I don't think that people truly understand addiction until after they get into it. And then after they've gotten into it, we become so dependent on that thing. Like you said earlier, it's a hobby that turned into a chore. We become so dependent on that, man. We don't know that it's going to help us deal with our life problems. We don't know that it's going to shut us off from the world and like cure our anxiety and our depression for a momentary.
Right.
Like, we don't understand that until we do it. Because like I said, at first it's fun. And then after we figure out, man, this is what it does, because drugs do what they're designed to do. Mm-hmm. They do exactly what they're designed to do. Make us feel better, take away depression, take away anxiety, take away feeling lonely, all them other things. Like, they do what they're supposed to do, just a little too good. And then we become dependent on that. So I think, like, society really has a different, like, the wrong look at it. Like, they don't see it how it really is. And then after so long, dude, it's just, I mean, it's whatever, for real. I mean, you're out there, you're already doing it, so you might as well do it. I remember times that I was convinced I was going to die an addict.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is my life. Like, this is what it's going to be, and I was cool with that. I was content with that.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of other people. Some of the best people I've ever met and smartest people, most outgoing people are addicts.
You know, really, I don't know if there's anybody who lives who isn't addicted
to something.
Yeah. You know, even like fast food. Fast food is set up in a way that it releases the same pleasure receptors, dopamine, serotonin, that the drugs do. Mm-hmm. Maybe not in an extreme quantity, but there's a reason you keep going back. There's a reason why I would rather eat some French fries that provide no nutritional value to my body at all over a luscious apple.
Yeah.
That is actually good for me.
Yeah.
You know, you put one beside the other, 9 times out of 10, you're going for them fries. If you are already a victim to that addiction. And it's like, man, to understand that, like, Christ is the way. He sets the captive free. Like, if you look at this on like a scientific level and a spiritual level, man, to understand that whenever we indulge in these drugs or these sugary, salty foods that are releasing and flooding our bodies with different hormones and chemicals that affect our pleasure centers, it's like there's a give, but then there's a take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not everlasting, for one, and it's not sustainable. You know, if I do a drug, I feel really good, but then I get depleted.
Yeah.
Because I use my resources, and then there's a crash. But it's like, And because I want to feel good, it causes me to keep going back to these things that are making me feel good. But when we dwell in God's presence, man, and whenever we get a fresh wind of that Holy Spirit, it's like that Spirit enters our body and sets off those same centers. And he says, I'm living water. My supply never runs dry. So it's like, it's almost as if our body isn't using any of its resources.
Yeah.
It's just overflowing. My cup runneth over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of the force that's inside of me. And because of that, there's no withdrawal. There's no give and take. It's just a constant abundance. Joy, man.
And you said something that made me think of this too, to go along with that. Society paints a picture of people who are depressed and people who grow up into poverty and people who go through this and go through that and go through this, end up an addict. So that is seared in our minds as we are children, as we are when we're the most absorbent. It's just like, and like you spoke about, the sugars. Go to Walmart and where are all the Fruit Loops and stuff and like the foot by the long, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The roll-ups and stuff. Where are all those? Where are all the candy, the name brand candies and stuff? That high. They don't go no higher than that. They're on the bottom 2, bottom 3 shelves. Where and what members of society see that? Children. So then automatically they want that. And like you said, it's not sustainable. So the older I get, the more that I want. Because I've been painted this image, man, of like more is better. When in all reality, less is better, because whenever I have God in my life and I have Jesus in my life, I don't need as much as I needed then.
Right.
Like, I'm content with what I have now. But whenever I was out there living unrighteously and in the world, I wanted more and I wanted more and I wanted more, and I wanted to keep up with society and I wanted to keep up with the Joneses down the street. But then I also wanted to do, like, I was just pulled different ways. I was a double-minded man. It's just like, but it's a picture that society has painted. Oh, well, if you're depressed or if you're this, or this statistic says that 90% of these people are going to be addicts because they lived in this area. Bull crap, bro. It's bull. We believe it. I believed it. But that's bull. Because whenever we put Jesus in our life, like you said, and we search through him because he is the way and he is the truth. When we put him in there, man, we start to see the dressed up truth and we start to accept the naked truth, and we see the dressed up lie. Like, we start to accept the naked truth and deny the dressed up lie.
What was coming to me, man, was like, first I just had the vision of the fact that there's not a whole lot of places where you can go where you can spend $1 and there's not the temptation of this sugary fudge bar.
Yeah.
And to think that whenever you ingest this candy, man, this sugar, it's causing that spike of pleasure, and it's going to be followed by a crash. That temptation is so, just looking through it through the spiritual lens of like, there's a warfare going on and there's weapons formed against us. And I believe that these concoctions are indeed weapons formed against our bodies. How many times do we run to these things to experience that joy that only lasts a moment? When if we would turn from our ways and seek the Lord for him to fill us with life, the living water that blows our pleasure centers, to max capacity, that we would be freed from all these vices. Because I'm struggling right now, bro. I'm struggling in my diet big time. And I realize, like, because I quit vaping, my sugar and my salt intake has went through the roof. Mm-hmm. Because, there's been such a stimulation of this pleasure center in my body through the vape that now I'm trying to curb it through the diet.
With a large fry and 2 apple pies from McDonald's.
And to think that, like, on the other side of my suffering is what it's going to be. Like, for me to fast, especially in the time right now, and suffer. The only way I could get through that suffering is to be in God's presence.
That's it.
And then come to find out there probably wouldn't be much suffering at all.
At all.
There actually might be a revival and an overflowing because of who he is. So I kind of just got a revelation, man. I don't know what it is that makes me fall so short of humbling myself to get in his presence instead of running around this world to and fro looking for the next thing that's going to bring me this false sense of temporary joy when I know where my help comes from. But I still fall victim to all these distractions.
Mm-hmm. As we will, and that's undoubtedly, like, as we will. And I mean, you're saying that, and it's making me think of, like, because I'm a shoe guy. Bro, if I get on a shoe app and I start looking at shoes, my heart rate starts to go up because I want that. I want that shoe. I want that shoe. But I mean, I have to fight it. Like, I want it. Is it a need? Yeah, but it is a temporary fix for right now. That's instant gratification. That's a right now, right here experience.
Mm-hmm. It's an unquenchable thirst, bro.
Dude, because I'll get that pair and then I'll see another one that I want.
Right.
And like, I just want to keep wanting it. So if I'm chasing after something like that, I want it to be something that's going to benefit my life. I was just talking to
something that'll produce fruit.
That's it. Like, and I looked at him and I seen him walking, man, and it just hit me. Well, and then somebody asked me, hey, you going to come play basketball? And that's one of his passions. That is his passion. If you know him, that's his passion. And for him to say, nah, man, I'm too busy right now. I can't go do that. I was like, this man walks this world and this earth with a purpose. And I told him that. I was like, bro, like, everything you do has purpose behind it. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you do nothing. If it doesn't benefit your life or the life of your children or your wife, you're not going to do it.
Don't produce fruit.
It's purposeless. So everything that he does has purpose behind it. So if I'm going to chase something that's going to make me feel good, it needs to have purpose behind it. And that purpose is God. And whatever purpose he has for me, I don't know yet. I just keep doing what I'm called to do. Like, I don't know what it is, and I get frustrated sometimes, but, like, that has purpose behind it. I can't go out here and chase them. And don't get me wrong, I like them. Like, I like them. I do. I love it. I love worldly things. I do. But I love God a lot more than I do that, man. I don't want to go out here and just chase. It's like a dog chasing his tail. That's what it is whenever I'm out here chasing worldly things. Mm-hmm. I'm just running in circles.
Yeah.
But whenever I chase God, there's purpose behind it. I know that I'm trying to do this for everlasting life. I know that I'm trying to do this for my castle in the sky. Like, I know that's why I'm doing these things. I'm planting seeds today that are going to harvest in my daughter's life and in her children's lives. That's what I'm doing today. Like, everything that I do today has purpose. I'm planting seeds in people's lives that are going to harvest in their children's lives or their children's lives. Like, I don't want anything that I do to be purposeless no more. I mean, if it's having a candy bar.
When did that happen? When did that shift happen?
It's been happening. And I mean, I keep, like you said, I'm talking about Africa a lot, but like since Africa. But then I came back and and it was just the other day, I think it was Thursday, that Tim said that. And I'm like, dude, for this man to say that he's not going to go play, because him playing basketball is like me going to the gym. But like, I love it. That's my purpose. Like, when I do that, I hope that I inspire somebody to start working out and better their health. Like, there's a purpose behind it now. But it was just Thursday, man, and I was like, and it hit me. It was like a revelation. It hit me, and I was like, dude, like, I need to stop being purposeless in my life and start walking and living with a purpose.
It's got to be God's hand, man.
Without a doubt.
It's got to be God's hand leading us.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I revert back to that PlayStation, bro, that I bought. I had it for 11 days.
Yeah.
And it was like, growing up, it would have been everything I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Especially like, dude, these games are so stimulating today.
Yeah.
Holy
it's
moly,
like
really
watching a movie.
Got this stuff down to a science. You want to veg out.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me to have something that's so rewarding in my flesh and still be like,
yeah,
I'm willing to get rid of this and suffer it.
Yeah.
For something that I can't even see yet. But I know my faith is in God and what God has for me. And if I keep doing this, I'm not going to get here.
Yeah.
So to know that, like, that's within me. I didn't have that before.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. And it's not nothing that I did or learned. That's God's hand, bro. It's God's hand protecting us, changing our heart's desires to pursue.
I even had to fight my flesh
destiny.
Because of that. I was like, bro, dude's I can get that right now. I was like,
the PlayStation
on the low too. I was like, I can get that right now.
It's gotta go.
Yeah. But then I was thinking the same way you was, like, what feeds my flesh robs my spirit. And I can't afford to do that no more.
After getting a taste of what the Spirit offers.
Yeah. I can't afford to do it no more. I can't. I can't afford to be out here gambling with my life and my spirit no more. Like, I can't afford to do that. Like, God's done brought me through all this, man. And I know that he's not going to give up on me. But I always think, what if this is my last chance? That's how I think now. Like, what if this is my last chance to come out here and make an impact on my life and an impact on other people's lives? Like, and I tell myself that in my recovery, if I don't do it this time, I'll never do it. So I kind of like fear myself into continuing to do things as I should do them. It's a healthy fear. It's a fear that pushes me to want to do better. It's not a paralyzing fear anymore.
Right.
Like, and that was a big difference too. Like, it not being a paralyzing fear anymore was a big change.
It's about time to wrap it up, my man.
Yeah. We only got through 3 questions, homie.
Dude, that's all right, man. The questions are kind of just there to spark something.
Yeah.
So whether we get through all 5 or we only get through 2, we still talked for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of substance to it, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
Thank you, man.
I'm proud of the man that you're becoming and the man that you desire to be. And it's a blessing to see God working in your life, restoring your life, restoring people's lives who are connected to you, and just the impact that you make, man, and the idea of the impact that's coming.
Well, I truly don't believe that I would be where I am right now if God didn't plant me around the men that he planted me around. You, Pastor, Tim, Chris, Mac, JT, Reese.
Dude, it's a covering, bro.
It is.
Like, if you can step back and look, you gotta understand, like, I ain't nobody, dude.
No.
I'm someone who wandered into a covering.
That was it.
It began to change my life.
Yeah. I didn't even know what Overcomers was, and I accidentally, like, basically went to it all because of James Dawkins, bro. Like, all because of him. He took a whole group of us. He was like, yeah, this Overcome. I didn't know what it was. I get there, and I see some dude up there with some braids in his hair doing this rap song. I was like, that was you.
Was it?
Yeah. It was that Mill Street. I was like, okay. And then, like, I just wandered into it, man. And that's another thing, too. Like, people be like, oh, it took God this long to find me. It took God this long to find me. You better check yourself, homie, because God's always been there. What it did is it took me 28 years to find God. Like, he's been there. So he wasn't looking for me, but he's been there.
Right.
I was looking for him. I was the one who was lost out there wandering around. I was the one who was empty. Like, he's been there. He was giving me signs all these years. It was just up to me to go find him. And I tell people, like, I can pray, God, please bake me a cake. He's not going to do that. But what he will do, and I know for a fact, he'll give me the means and the ways to make that cake.
Yeah.
He'll supply me with some flour. He'll push me to a stream that has good, clean water. Mm-hmm. He'll give me a mixing bowl. He'll give me a spoon, a whisk. I'll find an oven, a baking pan. But it's up to me to put in the footwork to make that cake.
Yeah. Like,
it's a relationship. And I don't want to speak for him, but I think a lot of people, like, get that distorted. Like, and they're always like 50-50. No, this is 100. God gives me 100% of him every day. Every day that I wake up, God's there giving me 100% of him. It's up to me. What am I willing to give him? Am I willing to give him 100% and believe that everything that is going on in my life is going to work out for the better?
I just got like a vision, man. Like, when you said you have to give to receive.
You have to.
It's like you have to give him you, which is a sacrifice, a living sacrifice.
Yeah.
You have to give up your will, your desires, your understanding to receive his.
It's true, because that's the only way, like, it's going to work. Like, he's a potter. He's.
I just see, like, this flow, this exchange of,
like, that's it, dude.
Energy, like, man. We're spirits. We are energetic beings.
Yeah. It's like I look at it as a purchase. I'm not going to be able to get what I want out of a store until I pay you for it. So I'm not going to be able to receive the blessings and the gifts from God until I pay him for it. And how do I pay him for it? Denying my flesh and walking in spirit and walking in faith, being faithful.
Obedient.
Exactly. Being obedient and following his commands. That's how I pay for the blessings that he gives me. Do they come cheap sometimes? No. Is this one of the hardest things that I've ever did in my life?
Not easy either.
Exactly. Like, is this one of the hardest things I've ever did in my life? Absolutely. Undoubtedly, the hardest thing I've ever did in my life is to follow Christ. But this has been the most beneficial thing ever to happen to me.
I think we make it hard, man.
We do. I've definitely overcomplicated it.
We beat ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really, I think it's the easiest. I think it's the easiest thing, man, to wake up. And like, if you really, you know, if your faith is on point, dude, it's easy.
Oh, well, I like refer to that to like fighting my flesh. Like,
yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
And that is hard, man. But again, I think we overcomplicate it.
We definitely do.
We get this sense of perfection and wrath.
Yeah. That's
God's love is so far beyond my understanding, man. My understanding is like, if you disobey what I told you to do, like, there's punishment.
Yeah.
But he's rich in mercy. Mercy that's beyond our traits or what we would offer someone who played our role that we play in God's life, in our life.
Yeah. And
constantly falling short, constantly.
All the time, every day.
Rebelling, breaking laws.
Every day. Every day. And that's like as simple as like, even if I don't use my blinker, like that's a law set in place. Like, I'm breaking that law. I'm being disobedient.
And if somebody saw you doing it, you would be punished.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So like,
that he sees everything, man.
Yeah. And like, because again, I was talking to Tim, and it says, do everything unto God. Yeah. Like, everything that I do in my life should be a representation of God and what he's done for me. Like, so that's like, it's really changed my perspective. And that was just like 2 days ago or yesterday. So like seeing that, like, bro, it's just, and the more that I open up my eyes, I tend to open up my spirit a little more, and I start to see things a little different. And then my faith grows. It's just like going to the gym. Whenever you first get there, you're not lifting weight. Like, you're not just waking up benching like 600 pounds. Like, you got to work up to that. I'm not benching 600 pounds either.
I wouldn't know.
But I'm just
saying. I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, like but like you have to work yourself up to that. So like, and I got asked a question once, and they was like, well, how did your faith build? Well, dude, whenever I came in, I didn't have any faith. But I seen people around me getting blessings, and I see them activate their faith and putting it to good use and being like, oh, well, you know, God will provide a way. Even if they didn't mean it, they still said it. So then like that was like speaking it into existence. That was manifesting it. And that's just how I grew. Like, it's like repetition. Over time, I continued to use my faith, and over time it's going to get stronger.
It's such a freeing thing, man. Like, even that little experience I had today where it's like I was starting to look for the things of the world, and then to overcome that and to know that it was my faith that freed me. It freed me from this pursuit of lack. I'm operating from a place of lack. I'm operating from a place of thinking that the things that I can't obtain right now is what I need for achievement or success. That leaves me in a place of lack.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have enough. And so my faith in God, bro, that I got everything that I need, and if I would focus on him and be in his presence, then the fruit is going to flourish. Freed me from that pursuit of things that I can't obtain right now, and put me back into the place of abundance that is in my life.
Yeah.
And so whenever you can operate from that place of abundance, it's like that's when the desires of your heart are catered to. Because really, like, I know in my heart, I want to be productive. I want to have a purpose. I want to serve people. And it flourishes when I operate from that place of having. I got everything I need, man. It was my faith that freed me. And so it's awesome, man. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think we're probably at a good stopping point, though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed our conversation, man.
Yes, sir, for sure.
I enjoy taking that little time apart and then coming back into each other's lives and just seeing the growth.
Yeah.
Seeing the evidence of God's working, man.
He is, dude. Especially if you just let him. If you just let him, bro, he's working.
2024, baby.
That's it. It's our year. You know what I'm saying? This is the year.
God's way.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.
If you stuck around to the end of this, God bless you. I hope something in this conversation filled your spirit, moved you, enlightened you. it's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing to do these little podcasts, and I look forward to continuing them. And Corey, I appreciate you again.
Yes, sir.
Taking time out of your day to come share with us. Till next time.
Thank you for having me. That was good, bro.